Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Please feel free to write to me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding to this video or any other videos that I have posted in the past. If you have any videos that you would like me to make, please let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Recently, a viewer wrote to me and she asked me, is it possible to make a soup in a wok? And my answer is, of course. The wok is so versatile. In fact, it's perfect for making a soup. Now, I have a cast iron wok, which I normally do not use very much because it's too heavy for me to move it around. But the cast iron wok is perfect for making a soup. Now, my cooking system emphasizes on practicality, convenience, and efficiency. Because I want to make home cooking as part of your daily routine, you will only cook on a regular basis if you find it to be practical, efficient, creative, and fun. And therefore, making a soup in the wok is perfect because then you can use your wok for any type of cooking function that you would like. And the cast iron wok is particularly good, but if you don't have a cast iron wok, a stainless steel wok or a carbon steel wok will do the same. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to make a soup that is frequently known as a hot and sour soup. It is a very popular soup in American Chinese food. Now, the soup is originally from Sichuan province. Sichuan is a province in the western part of China and is well known for hot and spicy food. And this is where the hot and sour soup originated. Of course, the Chinese-American version of this is a version that is much milder. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to control the level of spiciness of this soup. There are many different ways to make this soup. However, the most common way, it will contain meat as the source of protein, and it contains also mushroom and other ingredients as well. Now, when it comes to meat, I always have some pork loin on hand. Now, the way I do advanced prepping for my pork is that I will cut it up into thin pieces, which is suitable for me to use it for stir fry. Like most people, I find convenience and efficiency is essential for home cooking. If I want to use some pork for a meal, I would like to be able to find the pork anytime I want. So I freeze the pork in such a way in this single layer. So when I'm ready to use it, all I have to do is to put it in a bowl of lukewarm water so that it will be thawed out in about 10 minutes or less. So this way, I will be ready to cook almost as soon as I entered into the kitchen. By the time I have every other thing ready, the pork will be ready for me to cook. Now, in this dish, I'm going to use some shiitake mushroom. This shiitake mushroom is a dehydrated mushroom. So before you use it, you have to hydrate it in water. Now, I have a little trick to get it hydrated rapidly, is that after you soak it in the water for about 5 to 6 minutes, I will then push in the stem, which is like the button in the middle of the mushroom. And once you push that, it will allow it to absorb water much faster. In this case, you can have the mushroom ready in about half an hour. Now, most of the time, I will prep my shiitake mushroom in advance, and usually they have a really good shelf life. They can store in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. So this way, anytime you want to use it, it will be ready for you. Now, the shiitake mushroom provide great flavor for this dish. And in fact, the traditional hot and sour soup always have shiitake mushroom. It is better than using any other type of mushroom. And of course, shiitake mushroom can be used for stir frying with other vegetable dishes as well. After the shiitake mushroom has been softened, I will cut them up into thin strips. You can cut them into a various type of thickness depending on how you like it. Most of the time, I will cut them into relatively thin strips. This will make them cook a little bit faster when you stir fry them. But you don't need to cook them too much. The next part of this soup is some tofu. Now, I'm going to use this tofu, which is known as silken tofu. It is a very soft tofu. And I find that for making this hot and sour soup, this tofu actually do really well. They're much better than the other type, like such as extra firm or firm tofu. So I simply cut the tofu first of all into strips, and then I will cut it the other way so that I will cut it into cubes. Again, you can adjust the size of the tofu based on how you like it. So these are the basic ingredients that I need to make this soup. Of course, you can add other ingredients as well, but this three usually is very traditional in making this hot and sour soup. So I will then take the pork I have and I cut them into strips because I already cut them into thin slices earlier. So cut them into strips is relatively easy. So the first step is I'm going to stir fry the pork. Of course, I stir fry it directly in my cast iron wok. And this way, the first step is basically a stir frying step. And in this step, it will allow you to cook the pork to the doneness that you want. So it will take it much faster for you to cook the soup. The pork is the traditional meat for cooking this hot and sour soup, but you can use other type of meats as well. A chicken will be a good substitute. Next, I add the shiitake mushroom. The ratio between the meat and the shiitake mushroom is obviously adjustable. If you do not like to have too much meat, then you can use less meat and more shiitake mushroom. Or if you want it to be vegetarian, then you can omit the meat completely. It is very much up to you, and you can make the adjustment to suit your personal preference. And this is the nice thing about home cooking, because you can adjust the ingredients exactly to how you like it. It provides the flexibility that will not be possible if you eat out. And this is the reason why I think home cooking is probably the best way to cook the type of dish that you want. Next, I add the water to create the soup. You can use different amount of water depending on the consistency that you want with the soup. Next, I'm going to season the soup first with my wok with tak basic seasoning mix. This seasoning mix will create savoriness for the soup. This seasoning mix is relatively mild, but it is rich in umami flavor, and therefore it will make the soup more savory. Again, you can use different amount based on how much you want the flavor to be like. Next, I'm going to add some the hot sesame oil. This will make the soup has a more complex flavor. This sesame oil already has a hot oil in it. However, you can use normal sesame oil as well, again, depending on what's available to you. I personally really like this. And then to adjust the spiciness of the dish, I'm going to add some red pepper flake. The red pepper flake, again, will adjust the different level of hotness that you would like. If you want it to be more spicy, you can add more. So you should do taste testing along the way to decide how much you like it to be. And this is an important part of flavor chasing, which is a significant aspect of my fast cooking system. With flavor chasing, you're able to continually to modify the flavor of your dish to reach the point that how you like it. And this is the flexibility of home cooking, because ultimately you are capable in making all kinds of adjustments that will not be possible if you eat in a restaurant when somebody already dictates the flavor of the dish. The next step is to add the tofu to the soup. Since I use the silken tofu are very soft and they provide really wonderful texture for the soup. Of course, you can use other type of tofu as well. In the past, I have also used firm or extra firm tofu, but I really prefer the silken tofu. But you might not find it available to your normal grocery store. But however, you will find it in any Chinese Asian grocery store. Personally, I think the silken tofu really add a great deal to this dish. Okay, I put the silken tofu into it very gently because they break easily. Next, I add some doenjang vinegar. It is a rice vinegar that is actually very similar to balsamic vinegar, but without the sweetness. This doenjang rice vinegar is the typical flavor that you find in a hot and sour soup. And the doenjang vinegar, again, you can decide how much you add. I advise you to constantly do taste testing so you will find the exact amount that you add to the soup will create the type of flavor that you are looking for. To thicken the soup, I'm going to use cornstarch. I'm going to create a cornstarch water suspension. I will use 1 part of cornstarch to 2 parts of water. This will allow me to create a relatively thickened soup as the way how I want to. Now, after I add the water to the cornstarch, I shake it rigorously to make sure that everything is properly mixed. This way, it will prevent clumping. Okay, now to thicken the soup, I'm going to add this cornstarch water suspension to the soup. And I'm going to add it a little bit at a time. I will slowly adjust the consistency to the thickness that I want. If it's too thick, I can add more water. And the last step is I'm going to create an egg drop in the soup. I'm going to have some egg beaten up. I'm going to use about 1 to 2 eggs, depending on how thick I want it to be. With the heat turned to low and with constant stirring, I add the egg slowly, a little bit at a time, and this will create this egg drop appearance in the soup. You can decide how many eggs that you want to use. Personally, I like to have a relatively thick consistency with the egg, but some people like it with much lighter. With constant stirring, you will gradually achieve this egg drop appearance that is very typical for this soup. As the final step is I'm going to garnish the soup with some chopped scallion. Chopped scallion is very flexible and you can use to garnish many dishes. And for a soup like this, the chopped scallion make quite a big difference. It not only add flavor to the soup, but it also provide appearance that will add that green color to the soup and make it more pleasing. So here it is, a hot and sour soup that you can make in your wok. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine that is practical, efficient, creative, and fun using my fast cooking system. If you'd like to learn more about this cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So I will see you tomorrow.